Hi, my name is Andre, and this is my CW Quickstart guide. First, I would like to make a disclaimer. English is not my first language, so I'm sorry for the English mistakes that you're going to hear here. And second, I'm not the biggest, the best, or whatever CW operator out there. I don't even consider myself a CW operator, I just consider myself a Jax hunter who uses CW. And this study plan is just I collected some stuff, some advices that experienced operators put out there and just put them together. And this study plan allowed me to start on CW pretty fast, pretty fast. So I'm sharing the study plan with you. The goal of this guide is to break what I believe to be the biggest barrier when learning CW, which is the time between starting to study and get your QSOs. And it's very important. You must get the reward for the effort as quick as possible. If you don't do so, you will eventually give up studying CW and just go do FT8. Okay? So focus on this. Get your reward as fast as possible. So, the first step would be learning the characters, right? It's very important that you do this without any visual references. What I mean by visual references, those charts that you have the letters of the alphabet with the dots and dashes, right? You should avoid that. I know it's hard when you're starting from zero, but do avoid that. I cannot express how important it is. Second, whenever you catch yourself doing this, stop right away. Never count the dots and dashes in the characters. Just listen to them as if they were music. And third, make use of mnemonics to memorize the characters. Next, I'm going to show you a video. In this video, I used the tool. I made a web-based CW learning tool. I'm using that tool in this video, but you can use whatever tool there is. But I'm going to show how I believe you should learn your words, in this case using my tool. And the second, in the next video, is what these mnemonics are.
Hello, this is how I suggest you to learn the characters in Morse code. This is the app that you have the link in the description of this video. And basically the mode is teacher. And I'm setting here repeat 3 times. You can set whatever. The speed, try to learn at least at 20 words per minute. Right? Why I say at this speed? Because the most important thing that you have to do when learning the characters is avoiding counting the dits and das. This is what gets you stuck in the future. So just learn by the sound. So at 20 words per minute, it's pretty good to start learning. And for the pedal, I would suggest you to use a straight key instead of a Yankee pedal, because even though it's worse for sending the straight key, it's easier to prevent you from counting the dits and das. If you use a iambic pedal, you might get yourself counting stuff. That's the worst thing you can do. So I'm going to close the settings here and play. Just repeat. And you go through all the letters. By the way, I didn't mention, this is not that relevant for learning. If you don't know the best, it is not the best way, it is just a comfortable way for you to do stuff. Uh, the context of this thing, the pad, the key, should be like pretty close one to the other, enough for you to put some weight and not activate it, right? What they say is that you should get a QSL card, put in here, and measure the distance, right? Another thing, get the pedal like this, get a grip of the pedal, right? And do with your arm, right? Not like this. You do get it? See, it's easier. So that's it. After you go through all the characters, there is another mode here, which is random characters. You can do the same thing. I'm going to remove numbers here. I want it to be like as easy as possible for the demo. You play. Yeah, and then you practice with that mode teacher and the random characters, and that's good enough for you to learn all the characters. Another great tool for memorizing the characters is the usage of mnemonics. Uh, Mnemonics are sounds, uh, words or expressions that remind you of the character. Mnemonics have to make sense for you. It's only for you. You listen to the letter and you think of something that helps you remind that letter. I'm going to show you 3 letters that I have mnemonics for. You might not end up finding mnemonics for every single character, right? But I'm going to show you the mnemonics I have for some of these for some characters. So the letter G is da da D, right? So this is what I think when I think of the letter G. You see, this is a sound, an example of a sound. Then we have this word here in Portuguese, which is my native language.
Faculdade.
It's university or college in Portuguese.
Faculdade. Faculdade.
Right? Faculdade. Faculdade. Letter F. Okay? There's this expression here.
Vem cá, Lili. Vem cá, Lili. Vem cá, Lili.
Vem cá, Lili. And that's letter L. So this is how mnemonics work. You should, if you're having trouble memorizing the characters, you should find mnemonics that make sense for you, right? You should not. If mine makes sense for you, no problem. But you should try to find stuff that makes sense in your head.
The next step should be learning the sounds of entire words. Learn the most common abbreviations, and eventually you're going to learn the most common English words. Um, the ones that I recommend you in the app that I made, the web-based CW learning thing that I did, I have a list which which are the ones that at least I use the most when doing QSOs. DX, contest, POTA, SOTA, and short QSOs. So first, you have to be able to send and recognize your call sign, your name, and your city. All the information about you, you should be able to send pretty clearly and be able to understand, right? When you hear someone calling CQ, you send your call sign. If you're not able to understand your call sign, it's going to be pretty hard, right? So make sure you understand your call sign, your name, maybe your QT8, and you're good. Then the most common words, which is CQD, GM meaning good morning, good evening, good afternoon, UR, RST, 5NN. I would say 55N, 57N as well, TU, TNX, all this list here. In the app that I made, there are some good lists there as well. I recommend you looking at that. And next, I'm going to explain the reason why we learn this.
Now I'm going to show you the reason why we learn phrases instead of every single sound. You're going to see in the software there's a mode that is called top CW words, right? And it's good to learn the sound of the whole quote word because it's easier to understand. You're going to see why. And that's how you increase your speed in CW. You become actually proficient in CW, right? First, you start learning the most common words. The software has a list of what I believe is used in that I know that's used in short conversations, DX and POTAs and SOTAs. But I'm going to show you why you should learn that, right? I'm going to teach you two little words that you can work the planet with that. If you're able to understand a call sign and send your call sign, you can do a lot of DX with just these two words, which is 5NN, meaning 59, right, in SSB, and a TU, meaning thank you, right? So 5NN is this. Right. By the way, two observations. Don't worry, I'm doing like this. If you're at home, you should get the contacts pretty quick, pretty close one to the other, so you can, without much effort. I have this big space here because I operate a lot in the code, and the pedal they freeze and start failing, so I have to have a big space between the contacts here, and I do like this. I hit. Why? I do this because in the code I have to break the ice that forms in here. That's it. If you are a veteran out there, you don't need to comment saying, oh, you should have a smaller spacing in your pedals and not make that big effort. That's it, right? I operate in the cold, in the field, in the Canadian winter. That's it, right? I know someone would comment that. So, back to the thing. Number 5, right? Letter N. N again, right? 5, N, right? Okay, now forget the 5 and the letter N and think of this sound. Right? 5 and N. Okay, this is letter T. This is letter U. Right? Now don't think about the letter T or the letter U, but think of the sound, the whole sound. Okay, so what is this? and this. I'm pretty sure you could understand everything that I was sending here, right? When I was sending 5 and N and TU, right? Even though you might not have even memorized the characters. Okay, now I'm going to get into the speed 25 words per minute, which is actually pretty good already, right? It's a comfortable speed and it's pretty good. What is this? And this? This? Right? Now I'm going 30. 30 in the regular exchanges. Like DX contests, they work 35. 30 is not very common to listen on the frequencies when you are doing regular QSOs, but 30 is a good speed already, pretty good. What is this? Can you understand? And this? Can you understand? Right? Okay, I guess you can, right? Is this sound something that reminds you of something? When you go down the bends, do you hear this? Now you know what it is, right? 35, you are at contest speed, right? For me, with this spacing that I have, because of the code, it starts to be uncomfortable to send in 35 with this spacing here. This is why the veterans, they will tell you shorten make the spaces between the contacts here smaller, and don't move your hands like you're doing, right? But the 35 speed, it's a contest speed. Can you recognize? What is this? You can, right? We're at 40. It's pretty hard to find people sending at this speed. Maybe a big contest, some at the expedition, because everyone knows the call sign. This is not very common, right? Oh, I sent a lot of way more than 5. You see, I'm starting to send it wrong because it gets super. It's actually pretty good speed. Missed. You see, you can understand, right? Whoops. Can you understand? 45 words per minute. So this is why you learn the words, the whole words as a sound. No matter the speed, you understand. And this is how you get really proficient in CW. First, you start with the most common words, and then you move into the English words, common words in CW, right? The abbreviations and stuff that we use in QSOs like RST, UR. Let me put on back in 25, let's say. UR, right? UR 599. Oops, I was sending RST, but you are 599TU, right? You hear this a lot. Um, CQ, right? CQ is, this is pretty, I think it's, you already know these are, right? Um, 73. Don't worry about knowing the 7 and the 3. Just think of the 73, right? Best 73. I like the sound of best a lot. You kind of understood something else that I added in there, right? Best 73, right? So that's why we learned the sounds of the whole words. And after you learn the letters, you should learn the most common abbreviations used in CW. Uh, the the web application that I did has this. You could learn from anywhere. If you look on YouTube for abbreviations, you're going to find it. It's pretty easy to find the material to study. And that's it. Just a reminder, I forgot to mention this. This is important. When sending the words, send the words with the right spacing. The right spacing is important. This is what I mean. For example, the word best, right? Okay, if I send this, it's weird, right? Because many people learn the words like this and they expect to hear a whole sound. If you send this, it's going to cause problems for them to copy and understand. So just send with the right spacing. Oops. This is important.
After you learned you're comfortable with the most common words, uh, this is what I suggest you doing. Go to the radio on the field or at home, wherever you are. Go in the lower sides of the bands, like instead of 1450, go to 1410, 1420 below, and start looking and start hearing people calling CQ. You can stay there. If it takes 2 hours to understand a call sign, you stay there. If you find someone doing the calling DX and doing pretty short exchanges, you stay there, copy the call sign, and then you make your call sign. The goal is to make your contacts as predictable as possible. And the best type of QSOs you can have to achieve QSO being predictable is DX. You can go to DX Summit and look at the clusters, see where the stations are, and look at the exchange. You already know the call sign, and you already know what you're going to get your report, right? It's pretty easy. So it's predictable, right? So you start doing DX. POTAs and SOTAs are pretty good as well because the exchange is very simple. So you start doing DX. you feel comfortable, go do POTA, SOTA first. Just remember, if you're not comfortable copying, just go after stations. A DX station is calling CQ, you answer, do the DX. A POTA is doing CQ, you go get the contact, right? Next would be contests. They're pretty good as well. Um, Normally the exchanges are 59, 5NN plus a sequential number or CQ zone or state. Contests are pretty good as well. And as I mentioned previously, avoid making CQs because if you're not comfortable and with CW yet, avoid making CQs. And yeah, whenever you hear a station, go on QRZ, see everything about the station. So you already know the name, you already know the call sign, or you already know the QT8. So work into that. And with these tips, you're going to start doing some DX, some contacts, and getting your reward. Uh, and as I said at the start, it is important to get your reward. Here, just an example of a conversation, a DX, right? You hear the station calling CQDX. The means from. His call sign, he repeats his call sign. And when you get the call sign, your answer should be you send just your call sign, one or twice, depend how busy the station is, right? If it's a big pile up, you send it only once. If it's a station that's calling there and nobody's answering, you send your call sign twice. Um, And let's say the station just got part of our call sign. Here I'm making things complicated, but even complicated is easy, right? For example, your call sign, you send your call sign and then the station send K40 interrogation interrogation, right? Meaning that K40 go again, right? Then you send your call sign twice or three times, whatever. The DX station is going to answer your call sign 5NN, right? And then you're going to send RR, meaning QSL. This R means QSL copied, right? 5 and N, TU. TU means thank you. R means received. TU means thank you, right? 5 and N, TU. Then the other station will just answer TU. Then he's going to send his call sign, which is the clue for the other stations to coming, right? He's over with the TX. He's just calling for another station. Simple, right? I'm going to give you an example. Take a look at the next video. For POTA and SOTA, I recommend you watching a video from Thomas K4SWL with the title Parks on the Air, CW Exchanges Explained. He explains pretty well, so there's no reason for me to explain here again. So a short QSO, what I call a short QSO, it's not a reg 2, you're not there talking about the history of your life, you're just doing the quick QSO. And it is normally like this. CQ, 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 the call sign, PSE, please, K. Just asking the stations to anyone to reply. Uh, then you're going to reply to his call sign. His call sign, the, then your call sign twice, or just once, or just send your call sign, whatever. But I'm putting it like this because you will hear sometimes like this. The station is going to answer. Okay, received your call sign. Good evening and thanks for your call. This, oops, this thing here means it's like a dot. end of sentence, but I'm also thinking what you say. So people send this a lot. I use this a lot as well. You are 5NN, 5NN, OP, operator, name. This first he sends pretty quick, and then this one he slows down the space between between the characters to make sure you copy. Yeah, this is what I mean. And write it down, right? And then his name again. End of sentence. My QTH is city, state, or just a state, and then BK, meaning back to you. You would answer uh, received, find business, the name, good evening, you are 599, name. Here I'm using OP, meaning operator, but people also use name or name is as well, right? Name, the same thing that we did. QT8, city, state, or the city, the state, or just the city, or just the state, whatever. TNX, TNX meaning thanks for the QSO, and my best 73s. His call sign, your call sign. You sent 73, thank you. He's going to answer. Received, find business, your name, thanks for short, or nice QSO. Best 73, hope to see you again. Good luck. Your call sign, his call sign. 73, TU, thank you. EE, meaning end of QSL, end of contact. Right? It's not very complicated. If you have this in mind, if you're able to understand this, you can get a lot of contacts. This is basically I normally do DX or this kind of QSO. I'm able to get into reg-choose, but not completely. So I even today I am still avoiding reg-choose, and doing this you can do a lot of stuff, It's quite simple, right? And then you slowly start engaging into QSOs. One thing that I would suggest you to do, there's a contest that happens every Fridays and Mondays, if I'm not mistaken. Look for this. K1 USN, the SST contest, which is a contest uh, where the speed limit is up to 20 words per minute. It's pretty good. The exchanges are simple. Just you send the RST and the name, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty good. Try doing this. It's pretty good. And activate POTAs. POTAs are something pretty easy to do. People have the interest in collecting POTAs, and the exchanges are pretty simple. Just start doing it, right? Um, when it comes to POTA, the biggest challenge is to recognize the call signs that you receive, right? There's this software here, GX Atlas Morse running, which simulates a contest. But if you spend some minutes uh, in that software per day, eventually you're going to get pretty good in copying call signs. And for POTAs, SOTAs, copying the call sign is everything, right? The rest is pretty simple. Some useful softwares, as I said, Morse Runner can be found here. Go for Fox Oscar November has many pretty good softwares as well. I recommend you looking at them. You find many mobile apps out there that help a lot as well. Even some apps that give you a straight key. You don't need to buy a straight key or an oscillator. You can use an app, right? There are many out there. Simple. Decoders. This is something polemic. Did I pronounce that right? That some people hate, some people just use. Um, well, what can I say? I don't have anything against FTH. Why would I have anything against decoders, right? You do whatever you want. They do help you feel comfortable when it's starting. Right? When you start on CW, you don't feel comfortable yet. You can just leave a decoder running, hidden, and if you actually get lost, you bring the decoder. Um, Eventually, you're going to give up decoders because this is reality. When you find people calling, transmitting CW with iambic pedals, beautiful. Iambic pedals are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. When you find people sending with straight key, you're going to have problems if you use decoders, but not if you're actually copying, right? Decoders might start giving problems when you're listening people doing with a straight key. If you find someone using a bug or a cookie, you're going to cry. You're going to cry. Just don't even even if you I'm just saying this for myself, right? Even I, when I listen to cookies and bugs, I don't like it. The coders they just don't copy. The coders will become useless in many cases. Another case, I'm going to show you just a short clip of something that I suppose decoders will never copy. Nice to see you again. And it's a pretty good DX. And if you actually worry about getting DX, decoders will eventually become useless to you. So decoders might be something you use to start to get comfortable, to feel secure when going to DR. But eventually you're going to give up on decoders. And eventually as well, as you do QSOs, you're going to see that the QSOs are so repetitive and they're so easy to decode without decoders that you're going to just give up decoders. So that's it. The best 73 to you, and I hope this helps you. Uh, Again, by no means I'm an excellent CW operator. I'm not the best out there. Far from that. This is just my study guide. If you're lost, I hope this helps you. The best 73 from Victor Echo 2 Zulu Delta X-Ray.